In the far reaches of space lies the Galactic Academy, a prestigious institution where beings from all corners of the universe come to learn. The Academy is a place of fierce competition, where students, humans, aliens, and even artificial intelligences compete for recognition, knowledge, and power. It is a school of immense technology, a place where advanced weapons, AI, and robotic enhancements are the norm. Yet, in the midst of all this brilliance, there is Ethan, a seemingly ordinary human student. Ethan, a young man of 19, was accepted into the academy not because of any special talent, but because humanity, though young in comparison to the other races, had earned a spot among the galaxy's brightest. Humans were often seen as weak and primitive by their peers, an underdog species trying to rise above their limitations. In this new world of towering alien beings and robots with unimaginable abilities, Ethan felt insignificant. His classmates, the Arctians, Zenrials, and Nuvans, had been genetically enhanced, possessing powers beyond human comprehension. They looked down on him, dismissing him as just another inferior human. The academy was filled with cutting-edge technology, holograms, gravity-defying structures, and AI systems that could predict future events. Yet, Ethan found himself struggling to keep up, especially when it came to the physical challenges in the combat training arena. While his classmates moved with incredible speed, enhanced by robotic limbs or neural upgrades, Ethan could barely match their pace. He had no AI to assist him and no special enhancements. He was just a human in a place where everyone else was extraordinary. But he refused to give up. Even though every training session was a reminder of his limits, he kept pushing himself. Today was no different. The day started with a typical combat training session, one of the most demanding tests in the academy. Students were paired up to face off against each other in a simulated battle. Ethan's opponent was Jarek, a tall, fierce Arctian warrior known for his incredible strength and speed. Yarek's species was naturally strong and quick, and he had undergone extensive enhancements, making him nearly unbeatable in combat. Ethan's heart raced as he stepped into the combat ring, feeling the weight of his disadvantage. The room buzzed with excitement as the battle began. Jarek immediately charged at Ethan, his movements a blur. Ethan barely managed to dodge a crushing blow, but his body felt like it was moving in slow motion compared to his opponent. With each strike, the crowd of students cheered, convinced it would be an easy win for Jarek. But then something strange happened. As Jarek closed in for another attack, Ethan felt an unfamiliar surge deep inside him, a pulse of energy that seemed to come from within his very core. His instincts took over. Without thinking, he unleashed a burst of raw power, his fist connecting with Jarek's chest. The impact was so intense that it sent Jarek flying across the arena, knocking him unconscious in an instant. The entire room fell silent. Professor Zorath, a cold, calculating alien instructor who observed the session, stepped forward. His dark, calculating eyes locked onto Ethan. He had seen many things in his long life, but never had he witnessed such an explosion of power from a human. He quickly examined Ethan with a hidden gaze of curiosity. Though he dismissed the event as an anomaly, it was nothing, Zorath muttered, waving off the incident as a fluke, a random surge of energy. But it wasn't just a fluke. Ethan could feel something inside him shift, an energy he had never known existed. It was like a dormant power had been awakened, and now he couldn't control it. His classmates began whispering. Some were impressed, others skeptical, and a few even feared what had just happened. Ethan tried to process the situation, but the truth was that he had no idea what had just occurred. Was it a mistake? A freak accident? Or was it something far more dangerous? Something he didn't understand yet. As he stood there, trying to make sense of what had just happened, he noticed Ayla, an alien student from the Zenthian race, watching him from the sidelines. Her green eyes flickered with interest. Unlike most others, Ayla wasn't mocking or fearful. She seemed intrigued, as if she had seen this before. But she said nothing and quickly turned away, leaving Ethan to wonder if she knew something about his power that he didn't. Ethan's mind raced with questions. What was this power? Why did it happen now? And why had it chosen him? It was clear that his human body held something special, something the Academy had never seen before. But with the entire Galactic Council watching his every move, this power could become both a blessing and a curse. Ethan realized that he had to learn how to control it, or else it could bring unimaginable consequences. He didn't know what was happening to him, but one thing was clear. His life was about to change forever. As the bell rang, signaling the end of the session, Ethan walked out of the arena, his mind still in a haze. He had just unlocked something deep inside him, something that could make or break his future. But he was alone in this struggle. The Academy would never treat him the same way again, and neither would the galaxy. After the unexpected surge of power in the combat training arena, Ethan tries to return to his normal life at the Academy. However, it's no longer the same. The whispers among his classmates grow louder with each passing day. Some are in awe of his sudden display of strength, admiring him for what they see as hidden potential in the human species. Others, however, grow more suspicious and wary. They whisper about the unknown power Ethan possesses, questioning whether it was truly an accident or something far more dangerous. Ethan feels the weight of their attention, and it makes his every move feel more like a spectacle. His interactions with his peers become strained. When he walks through the halls of the Academy, some students give him nods of respect, while others avoid eye contact, their expressions filled with suspicion. He can feel the tension mounting around him, but he doesn't know what to make of it. Meanwhile, Professor Zorath, the cold and calculating alien instructor, has begun a covert investigation into Ethan's background. The power Ethan displayed in the combat arena couldn't be ignored, and Zorath, though dismissive at first, now believes there's more to Ethan than meets the eye. His interest in the human student grows, and he begins to dig deeper, questioning Ethan's lineage and searching for any trace of an explanation for the sudden surge of power. Zorath's mind races as he wonders what Ethan could mean for the future of the galaxy. As for Ethan, he tries to focus on his studies, but his powers continue to grow stronger in unpredictable ways. He notices strange things happening to his body. His telekinetic abilities are becoming more intense. When he's under stress or in danger, he can move objects with a mere thought, lifting them off the ground without touching them. His reflexes, too, become nearly superhuman, allowing him to dodge attacks and react faster than anyone in his training class. Despite being an underdog in the eyes of the Academy, Ethan begins to realize that he's far from ordinary. The more he tries to control his powers, the more they seem to develop on their own, as if they were waiting to be unlocked. He can't explain it, but he knows one thing for sure. These abilities are not just a random fluke. One person notices the changes more than anyone else: Ayla, an alien warrior from the Zenthian race. She has been watching Ethan closely ever since the incident in the combat arena. Ayla, a skilled fighter herself, sees the potential in Ethan's growing powers. However, her feelings are complicated. While she's fascinated by the possibilities of what Ethan could become, she is also torn between loyalty to her alien superiors and a desire to protect Ethan. She knows that the galaxy's more powerful races will soon take notice of him, and not all of them will want him to succeed. The tension in the Academy builds as Ethan grapples with the reality of his abilities. He starts to discover pieces of a larger truth, one that links him to something much older and far more mysterious. In secret research, he uncovers ancient records of a long-forgotten alien race that seeded humanity with incredible abilities. These abilities were meant to be awakened when the time was right, preparing humanity to one day challenge a galactic evil that threatens the entire galaxy. Ethan's mind races as he begins to realize the magnitude of what's happening. His powers are not just a random gift, they are part of a much larger plan. But as the whispers grow louder and the eyes of the galaxy turn toward him, Ethan knows he must find a way to control these powers before it's too late. The stakes have never been higher, and the rising tension threatens to overwhelm him. Ethan is no longer just a student in an academy. He is a key player in a cosmic struggle, and he is about to find out just how powerful he can become. As the days go by, Ethan's hidden powers continue to grow stronger and more unpredictable. What he once thought was just a random surge of energy now feels like something much deeper. He begins to realize that his powers aren't just a fluke, they are part of a genetic legacy. They were always meant to awaken in humanity at a specific time, when the galaxy needed it most. Ethan can't explain why this is happening, but he knows that this is no accident. Struggling to control his growing abilities, Ethan feels both empowered and terrified. His powers are becoming more intense with each passing day. At times, they surge uncontrollably, and he worries that he might hurt someone. He spends countless hours training, trying to understand his newfound abilities. But even as he pushes himself, a part of him feels lost, unsure of how to wield this power or what it means for his future. Through it all, Ayla becomes his closest ally. She's the only one who truly understands his struggle, and her support gives him a sense of purpose. Ayla, an alien warrior from the Zenthian race, has always been a strong, independent fighter, but she begins to show a different side to Ethan. She becomes his confidant, sharing with him her own fears and doubts. Their relationship deepens in unexpected ways. Ethan opens up to Ayla about his feelings of insignificance among the advanced alien species. He's always been looked down upon as a mere human, weak and inferior in comparison to the technologically advanced aliens around him. He feels like an outsider, constantly trying to prove himself. His whole life, he's felt small and powerless, and now that he has this incredible power, he's unsure if he even deserves it. Ayla listens quietly, her heart heavy with understanding. She, too, carries a burden: the impending war between the Galactic Council and the growing rebellion. She fears the war will destroy everything she holds dear, and she's torn between her loyalty to her people and her growing attachment to Ethan. She fears what will happen if the Council discovers Ethan's power and the potential it holds for humanity's rise. Just as their bond reaches its deepest point, a new threat emerges. The Galactic Council, sensing that something is wrong with the growing power of humanity, orders a direct investigation into Ethan. They suspect that he might be the key to humanity's potential rise and are determined to control or eliminate him before he becomes a real threat. This move sends Ethan into turmoil, as he must decide whether to trust those who have used him as a pawn for their own purposes or to take a stand and fight for humanity's freedom. The choice is agonizing. If he aligns with the Galactic Council, he would remain safe, but at the cost of betraying everything he believes in. On the other hand, if he decides to fight back, he risks everything: his life, Ayla's trust, and humanity's future. This moment marks a turning point for Ethan, where his true character is tested. His connection with Ayla becomes the emotional core of his decision. As they stand together facing an uncertain future, they find strength in each other. But the road ahead is unclear, and the weight of the decision is heavy on Ethan's shoulders. The peaceful academy, once a place of learning and discovery, is now under siege. The Galactic Council, desperate to subdue Ethan and his growing power, sends a massive fleet of advanced warships to neutralize him. The sky is filled with dark ships, casting shadows over the academy. They unleash an orbital bombardment, raining down destruction from above. Explosions rip through the buildings, shaking the very ground beneath Ethan's feet. The once pristine structures are torn apart, and chaos erupts. Ethan, now fully aware of his hidden abilities, is determined not to let his people suffer. He knows the Council will stop at nothing to control him, and the thought of losing his classmates and the Academy's peace ignites a new fire within him. With Ayla by his side, he makes his way to a secret training facility hidden deep within the Academy. Here, he learns how to tap into his genetic powers, slowly unlocking the full extent of what he is capable of. His powers grow stronger with each passing moment, but so does the pressure mounting around him. The bombardment grows fiercer, shaking the Academy to its core. Ethan's school, a place of hope and education, is now the front line of a war. As the destruction rages on, Ethan and Ayla escape into the shadows. They activate cloaking devices to remain hidden from the Council's sensors, knowing that the moment they are detected, the task force will be on their tail. With the future of humanity at stake, there is no room for mistakes. The tension escalates as the alien task force reaches the Academy's grounds. Ethan and Ayla, evading capture, fight their way through the crumbling structures. Close quarters combat ensues. Alien soldiers armed with energy weapons charge at them. Ethan's heart races as he faces the oncoming enemy. He channels his growing powers, releasing surges of energy that disable the enemy's technology, causing their weapons to malfunction and their shields to fail. But even his growing strength isn't enough to stop the relentless attack. Ethan's emotions are torn. He is witnessing the horrors of war, his classmates and friends falling one by one, victims of the Council's wrath. Each death stings, and with each loss, his emotional turmoil grows. His newfound powers, once a source of hope, now feel like a dangerous burden. He is forced to confront the reality of what his abilities could mean in the wrong hands. The visual storytelling is vivid. Explosions light up the sky, debris falling like rain, and the sounds of battle echoing through the corridors. As Ethan and Ayla make their way through the wreckage, they encounter futuristic technology in action, like cloaking devices and automated defense systems. The battle is fierce, and every corner they turn could be their last. In the heat of battle, Ethan realizes that he cannot just rely on his powers to survive. He must take full control of them, even if it means risking everything. The pain of loss and the fear of what might happen next fuel his determination. He knows that this fight is not just about survival, it's a fight for humanity's future. The Galactic Council represents the evil in this conflict, an oppressive force determined to maintain its control at any cost. Ethan and Ayla, standing together, are the underdogs, fighting for the freedom of their people. This is the moment where the true battle of good versus evil begins. Ethan's internal struggle is mirrored by the external conflict. As he faces the destruction around him, he understands that to protect humanity, he must become the leader they need, and to do that, he must embrace his power fully. The outcome of this battle will shape the future of the galaxy. The moment of truth has arrived. After weeks of evading the Galactic Council's attacks, Ethan and Ayla know there is no turning back. The Council's flagship, a colossal ship brimming with deadly technology, is armed with a doomsday weapon capable of wiping out entire planets. The fate of humanity rests on their shoulders. They make a daring assault against the flagship, planning to destroy it and cripple the Council's power once and for all. As they approach the massive ship, Ethan takes the pilot's seat of an ancient human warship he discovered during his training. Though the ship is old, its advanced design is a perfect match for Ethan's unique abilities. He focuses, calling on his powers to shield the ship from the barrage of alien weapons fire. The energy fields around the ship shimmer, absorbing the blasts and redirecting them harmlessly into space. The space battle rages on, with explosions lighting up the void. Ethan's heart pounds, but he knows this is humanity's final chance for freedom. As the battle intensifies, the AI commander, a cold, calculating entity, emerges as Ethan's main adversary. The AI is programmed to eliminate anyone who threatens the Council's reign, and it sees Ethan as the greatest threat. The two forces collide, with Ethan using his telekinetic powers to dodge the AI's attacks and retaliate with devastating energy blasts. The battle is fierce and the stakes couldn't be higher. Every move could mean the difference between victory and defeat. Visual storytelling reaches its peak as Ethan manipulates his powers to unleash a devastating energy blast, sending a shockwave through the flagship's hull. The blast tears through the ship's defenses, disabling the AI control systems that are responsible for maintaining the doomsday weapon. Sparks fly and alarms blare as the flagship begins to fall into disarray. The AI commander, now without its control systems, engages Ethan in close combat. The two engage in a brutal high-speed battle, exchanging blows that rattle the very walls of the ship. Ethan, using all his newfound strength, strikes with relentless precision, finally overpowering the AI. With the AI commander defeated, the flagship begins to spiral into a dying orbit, its systems failing one by one. Ethan and Ayla barely manage to escape the collapsing ship, narrowly evading its final moments of destruction. As the flagship crashes, the Galactic Council is dealt a fatal blow. The climactic battle ends with the Council's power broken and its reign shattered. Ethan, now fully in control of his abilities, has proven that humans are not to be underestimated. His fight is a victory not only for him and Ayla, but for humanity as a whole. As they escape, the stars above seem brighter, the future uncertain but filled with hope. The final blow to the Galactic Council has been struck.